Good evening and welcome to VSB News Online for Monday, June 15th. I'm Peter Cattell. There was pomp and pageantry in St. George's yesterday as Bermuda's newest national heroes, Sir Edward Richards and Gladys Morrell, were inducted by Premier Michael Dunkley. Following the ceremony, attended by the Richards and Morrell family, Charles Webb spoke to Rachel Bromby, daughter of Gladys Morrell.
Let it now be proclaimed that Gladys Morrell and Sir Edward Richards have significantly shaped our country and her development. Indeed, their contributions have been profound, and both individuals embodied many of the criteria that have been established under Bermuda's National Heroes Guidelines. Now, therefore, I, the Honorable Michael H. Dunkley, JP, MP, Premier and Minister of National Security, and the government and the people of Bermuda do hereby, with great honor and pride, proclaim the aforementioned persons National Heroes of Bermuda. Hereafter, they will be honored on National Heroes Day.
So tell me, how would you think your mother would feel on a day like today?
I think she would have been surprised by this whole thing. And perhaps feel that there were many people who supported her endeavors, who deserved recognition too.
Now, she was never elected to Parliament, but she did so much for Bermuda. Did you witness any of this type of activity as a young girl?
Well, really, when I was young, she seemed to be on the telephone an awful lot, talking to friends and sympathizers, trying to organize things. And then I was away in boarding school during the war, and I was away when they actually got the vote. So I wasn't here for a lot of it.
Did you ever get the impression that, based on what so much she had done, that she'd ever become a Bermuda national hero?
No. I didn't. This thought never occurred to me, no.
History will judge the role Sir Edward Richards played in the development of his adopted land. But in the eyes of the son of Bermuda's newest national hero, Deputy Premier and Finance Minister E.T. Bob Richards, his father's contributions to Bermuda in general, and his family in particular, are inestimable.
I think his most enduring legacy was his fight against segregation. My father wasn't born in Bermuda. When he came to Bermuda, he was appalled at what he found. And Bermuda was a great place, obviously, because he stayed for the rest of his life. But he grew up in a multiracial society where everybody from all races in then British Guyana. I mean, they had a class system there, right, but yeah. It wasn't the kind of racial segregation that he found here in 1930. And he spent a large portion of his life fighting against that on a lot of different fronts, education front, the sports front, the political front.
Now, speaking of the political front, it must have taken a great deal of courage for him to join the United Bermuda Party.
Well, I think you have to, it did take a lot of courage. And I think that you have to understand his philosophy. And when you understand his philosophy, then it's a logical progression. His philosophy wasn't for either blacks to take over or for retribution against the white oligarchy. His philosophy was for people to be together. And he said very plainly that, if if he joined the Progressive Labor Party, the leaders of the time, all of whom were his former students, then politics in Bermuda would be a strictly black-white affair.
What was he like, the father?
He was strict. My father, through his whole life, was schoolmasterish. He was, originally a schoolmaster, and he had that demeanor that was like a part of him. So he was a strict father, but he was a wonderful storyteller, and he basically used to teach us about different things by telling stories.
What contribution did he make to your now getting into the political arena?
Well, parents' influence on their children is profound. It really is. I have two sisters, and my father's career encompassed being a teacher, being a lawyer, and being a politician.
And a reporter, an editor.
That's right, and he was also a journalist. Right. That's right. And both my older sister, Pat, and myself, we both swore we would never be lawyers and never be politicians. Well, Pat not only became a lawyer, she became a judge. Well, I failed because I didn't become a lawyer, so I succeeded in that respect, but I failed on the political promise, right? And my younger sister, she didn't promise anything, but she became a teacher.
Was E.T., Sir Edward, Mr. Richards, your father, a hero to you?
Very much so, yeah. It took me a long time to get it because, I was a child of the 60s, and it was all about revolution and black power, and I went through that. I lived through that as a young man. And I know that we had some discussions at home where he was thoroughly dismayed with his son, thoroughly. But I eventually got it. So he is definitely my hero.
More than 2,000 people watched and cheered as nearly 200 soldiers and a contingent of Bermuda police paraded at the National Stadium on Friday in front of Governor George Ferguson and Premier Michael Dunkley. The special celebration of the Queen's birthday and Trooping the Colors ceremony, carried out in bright sunshine, was later described by the governor in a message of congratulations as a great display. To enable you to see what delighted the onlookers, here are the highlights of the parade, including the 21-gun salute to the Queen and the firing of rifles.
The band and corps of drums of the Bermuda Regiment is under the direction of Major Dwight Robinson, the Director of Music, and is led by the Drum Major, Sergeant Tariq Huey. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the Honorable Premier of Bermuda, the Honorable Michael H. Dunkley, JP, MP. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of His Excellency and the Royal Salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the symbolic arrival of Her Majesty. Given to fire the feu de joie and the 21-gun salute. Please cover your ears as the guns will soon commence fire.
Cheers for Her Majesty the Queen. Hip hip.
We will now observe the symbolic departure of Her Majesty the Queen. The parade will be ordered to give a royal salute, the band will play the national anthem, and the royal standard will be lowered, and the governor's standard will be raised once more.
After 2 decades at the helm of the church, Bermuda's Roman Catholic bishop is to retire. And last night, Bishop Robert Kurtz's successor was named as Father Wesley Spiewak from Krakow, Poland. The SB News' Chris Lodge has more.
51-year-old Father Wesley will succeed Bishop Robert Kurtz, who has led Bermuda's Roman Catholic Church for nearly 20 years. He is retiring at the age of 75. In his message read at all masses over the weekend, Bishop Kurtz says he's known Father Wesley since his student days in Rome. He is fluent in English and Italian, as well as his native Polish. There are over 9,000 Catholics within the parishes across the island. For the past 6 years, Father Wesley has served as the provincial superior of the Polish province, the largest province of the Congregation of the Resurrection. In that position, he has been responsible for 17 religious houses and their varied apostolates in Poland, as well as the Resurrectionist houses and apostolates in Australia, Austria, Bulgaria, Germany, Italy, Slovakia, and the Ukraine. He's visited Resurrectionist priests working in Bermuda, as well as in Canada, United States, and the Resurrectionist mission in Tanzania. Pending Bermuda immigration approval, Father Wesley will be ordained bishop at St. Teresa's Cathedral on October the 1st. I'm Chris Lodge, VSB News.
Back in Bermuda for further research is the Five Gyres Ocean Plastic Expedition, whose 2010 inaugural visit led to the creation of the Bermuda Marine Debris Task Force. The team of 35 scientists, environmental leaders, and artists arrived on board the 167-foot tall ship Mystic on a voyage from the Bahamas to inspect the North Atlantic gyre. They will report on their progress to date to a free public discussion at BIOS on Tuesday evening, starting at 7 p.m. The expedition leaves Bermuda on June 18th for New York. And now we go to Earl Baisden for the latest from the sports desk.
The Bermuda National Athletics Association hosted a very successful Axel Catlin National Track and Field Championships with many great races, great performances, and several personal bests over the two-day event. On day one, a personal best high jump leap for overseas guest Ama Kimoto of 1.85 meters put her in line to reach the Pan American Games in Canada. Trey Houston and Kyle Webb thrilled the crowd in the 100 meters, clocking 10:55 and 10:58 respectively. The race of the night on day one was the men's 800-meter race, which totally lived up to the expectations. Shaquille Deal clocked a winning time of 1:48.96, with Aaron Evans in second in a time of 1:49.26, and Dage Miners with a personal best time of 1:49.49, the first time he has run under 150 in Bermuda. Not to be left out, Carifta athlete Micaiah Robinson running a personal best of 1:57.57 and winning the 400 in 49.88 as he prepares for the World Youth Championships. The event had some great performances over both days by young under-12 athlete Selah Tuzo, who won the 400, 800, and 1500 meters. Day two was just as exciting as day one in the men's long jump. Bermuda jumpers showing that they compete with the best, with Bruce DeGrilla beating out overseas guest Charles Greaves with a top leap of 7.43 meters. Greaves leaped 7.25 meters. The event of the day was the men's high jump, with all three competitors jumping personal bests. Elijah Darrow in the under 17s leaped 2 meters. The most exciting performance was Janai Parentchief jumping a personal best of 2.19 meters, with his previous best being 2.10, while Kevin Miller jumped a personal best of 1.95 meters. Meanwhile, Tyrone Smith took to the track to compete in the IAAF World Challenge. In this fourth meet of the season, Smith yet again sent a message to those competing in the Pan American Games and the World Championships that this could be his year. Smith won the men's long jump with a top leap of 8.20 meters, which came on his sixth and final attempt. Mark Phillips and Ebony Burgess are the 2015 Bermuda Amateur Stroke Play champions, following the conclusion of the three-day event at the Riddles Bay Golf and Country Club. Phillips finished the three-day event with a total of 209, with Real Hardrau finishing second overall with a score of 217, and Jared Dillis finished third in a three-way tie at 218 alongside Hav Trott and Damian Paliande. Burgess shot a 3-over-par 75 to finish with an overall score of 240. Kim Botello finished second with a 245, and Elizabeth Parsons finished third, shooting 246. Shannon Lawrence and Karen Badage are the 2015 Bank of Bermuda Foundation Bermuda Bicycle Association's time trial male and female champions, while Matthew Oliveira and Alyssa Rose are the 2015 Bank of Bermuda Foundation time trial junior male and female champions. Lawrence completed the course and continued his time trial dominance, recording a time of 43:44.4. Anthony Bartley was second in a time of 45:50.5, and veteran Jeff Smith finished third in a time of 46:36.8. Badage clocked a winning time of 42:26.4. She was competing in the female masters division, and she was able to get the better of Zanique Williams, who finished second in a time of 43:16.9, and Nicole Mitchell finished third in a time of 43:55.6. Turning to cricket over the weekend, yesterday at the Wellington Oval, Devonshire Recreation Club defeated St. George's Cricket Club by 100 runs. Devonshire Rec won the toss and elected to bat. Chris Douglas was the top scorer with 66, and they were all out for 241. However, they were awarded 24 penalty runs, taking their total to 265. St. George's Cricket Club lost their captain Michel Painter to a broken thumb during the Devonshire Recreation Club inning. Ryan Steed was the pick of the St. George's Cricket Club bowlers with figures of 9.5 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 20, while Nazari Painter took 3 for 36 off of 10 overs. In reply, St. George's Cricket Club were bowled all out for 165. Mackay Simmons was the top scorer with 50. Jamie Smith returned figures of 8 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 32 to lead the Devonshire Recreation Club bowling attack. In other matches, Western Stars won by 9 wickets over Somerset Bridge. Scores: Somerset Bridge 155 for 9 in their 50 overs. Western Stars scored 156 for 1. Warwick Workmen's defeated PHC by 63 runs. Warwick Workmen's were all out for 144 and then bowled PHC all out for 81. In Premier Division cricket, Somerset Cricket Club won by 145 runs over Willacott up at the Somerset Cricket Club. Somerset batted first and scored 236 and then bowled Willacott all out for 91. The 2015 Round the Island Seagull Race started and finished off the Spanish Point Boat Club on Saturday. A new record was set in the G3 Sports Modified Pipe class. JJ Soares, skippering Get Over It, clocked a time of 1 hour and 37 minutes. A new Class B over 16 new engine record was also established by Preston Martins, driving in the pink. They were clocked at 3 hours and 10 minutes. Roy Wajo, steering a Little Slippery, clocked a new Class C under 16 new engine record, crossing the line at a time of 2 hours and 43 minutes. I'm Earl Baston reporting for VSB Sports.
And now the weather for Tuesday, June 16th. There will be a mix of sun and cloud. Winds will be easterly and light, becoming variable and light during the morning, settling east-southeasterly overnight. The high will be near 81 Fahrenheit and the low near 74 Fahrenheit. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thank you for watching VSB News Online for Monday, June 15th. I'm Peter Cattell.